All right. Thank you for listening to the Unprofessionals Podcast. We are here with Josh Sutter, as usual, and our new and hopefully reoccurring guest, Jonny Day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. We're brought to you once again by Keurig and the mobile hop-in off of Arno Mill and Trickham Road in Woodstock, Georgia. So, unofficial sponsors, of course. But today we just wanted to kind of do a preview of 2016. We just did our Best of 2015 podcast, which you can find in the iTunes Store, SoundCloud. iTunes Store, is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay. You can find it there, podcasts on the Apple Store, whatever. So if you want to listen to that, great. If you want to find out what we're excited about in 2016, this is the place to be. We're going to talk a little bit about TV, movies, and then talk about football with the college football playoff that just wrapped up, and then the NFL playoffs that are in full swing now. So we're going to start out with, you guys want to start with movies?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's hit the movies.
All right, so what movies are we looking forward to this year?
All right, well, since I sent you guys my list that I had compiled, I'll start with probably the two that I'm looking the most forward to. Actually, I'll go three. The first one is a movie that I didn't even know was coming out till I was doing research for this podcast, and it's called Hail Caesar. It's a Coen Brothers movie, so it'll kind of have a light, humorous touch to it, and it has like George Clooney and a bunch of other great actors in it, and it's classified as a musical, which makes it pretty embarrassing that I am looking forward to it, but that just looks like a really good movie. And then the other two are more kind of back to my nerd home. Star Wars Rogue One, obviously, because it's rumored that we're going to see the reveal of the younger version of Han Solo that they're portraying for the Han Solo film at the very end of this movie. There's also rumors that Vader is going to make an appearance, which I'm always down for. But mainly it'll just be interesting to see a Star Wars film that doesn't stick to the script of the trilogy series and goes off course to just tell a story. It's not following a bloodline. It's not following the Jedi versus the dark side. It's just following a simple story and a simple action. It's basically, I think I'm stealing Chris Ryan and Andy Greenwald said, it's basically the heist movie of Star Wars, which I could always be down for, because if that's the case, it sounds like a version of Heat and Star Wars mixed together without the I should say hopefully with the cheesy lines and one-liners that we've come to love from heist movies. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then the third one that I'm looking forward to is probably Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is the Harry Potter prequel that they're putting out. And I kind of appreciate it that they're not focusing on the Harry Potter story, because as we know with George Lucas's adaptation of 1, 2, and 3, it can be kind of difficult to decide, hey, this is a great story. Why don't I go back and do a prequel series of it now and try to explain a little bit of the backstory? It's really dangerous to touch a great film series like that. And obviously Star Wars is the best, but Harry Potter is one of the most beloved both books and movie series of all time. Shout out to Severus Snape, the actor who played him, died yesterday or the day before. So Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Yeah, dude. Did you not see that?
Oh my gosh. No, that's terrible.
I mean, he was the bad guy in Die Hard too.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. Sorry.
But
I didn't know that.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I believe his name is Eddie Raymond. He's the guy who plays Stephen Hawking in the movie that came out last year. He's playing the main character, and it's basically about a wizard who comes to America, and there's like a briefcase and all this stuff happens. So total nerd fest there, but I'm really looking forward to that movie just because.
As soon as you started explaining, it's about a wizard who comes to America.
Yeah, that's when I realized that. All right,
yeah,
when do you guys take the lead?
I don't know how in I am on the new Harry Potter-esque movie. I've never seen or read any. So here I am as an outcast to all Americans everywhere. So I apologize for that. But
no, I'm with you though. I'm not looking forward to it. I've only seen like 2 of those movies, so I agree. Maybe we needed to see more, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not. Maybe I haven't just seen the right ones at the right time. But I am picking up the new Star Wars. To me, this is Star Wars establishing itself, not just as like a movie or a series anymore, but a dynasty. because, you know, if you have a sequel, okay, there's kind of a set of movies. If you have 3 movies in a row, that's one thing. But if you have 6 movies, okay, that's bigger than most film series ever. Okay, but now you're going off, like Josh said, from the main bloodline, from the main storyline. You're just establishing yourself in American history at this point. So I'm pumped, needless to say. Carrie and I watched the first 6 Star Wars movies. Beginning in 1977, we watched all 6 in a 10-day span. Capped it off with the new one on a Wednesday night, and it was phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm with you guys on all those movies. Very excited. The only 2 I would add is The Nice Guys, which has Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and it just looks like it's going to be a funny movie. But it's about like Russell Crowe looks like he's like a private investigator kind of guy, and I don't know, just looks funny. You have to go see a preview or look at preview up for that one because it looks pretty good. But it's not one of those that's going to like alter your year. It just looks like it's one you go see with some buddies, and it's worth seeing.
Yeah.
And then the new Bourne.
That one looked good.
Yeah, the new Bourne movie might be pretty good. They're bringing back Matt Damon. And Josh, was it you that said Matt Damon and gosh, I can't think of the other guy's name.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy. They're both going to be in it.
I heard rumors. I don't know. I've read some stuff, but apparently it's going to be focused on like a post-Edward Snowden world. So probably a lot of cyber stuff, which can both be good and bad because the good side of cyber movies is that it's cool and modern, and the bad side is that it's a lot of looking at people on a computer, which can be really boring at some points. But I guess if you look at how Mr. Robot handled a little dude in front of a computer, then it is possible in a post-Edward Snowden, whatever that means, world to make a cyber terrorism based movie interesting. So that'll be kind of cool because, I mean, the part we like the most about the Bourne movies is that it's Matt Damon and, in one case, Jeremy Renner, like kicking the crap out of people and being like James Bond without the ladies' man mentality kind of thing, and just kind of the American version of James Bond. So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Cool.
And another one was, obviously I'm into Hail Caesar, looks good. 999 is a new movie that's coming out. I forget exactly when. I think sometime in the summer. Aaron Paul is one of the main characters though, and it's like a gang war crime movie, like cops and robbers. They compare it to Heat. So that looks like it's going to be a really good one.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it, and then I researched it a little bit last night, and it just looks like it's going to be a really fun movie. Maybe fun's not the right word because it's going to be a gang war movie, so I don't know that it's going to be. This has
Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. Good
old,
and it has Kate Winslet.
Yep. She's going to be like a crime lord. Woody Harrelson's going to be like a good cop for a change. So.
Oh wow, yeah. Even the cover looks kind of cool. All right, I'm in on that.
Yeah. So but yeah, I think the list that we had, and then those are some that I'm looking forward to for sure.
Okay, what about superhero movies?
Well, okay, yeah, we can talk about those too. One more I want to add real quick is I actually saw it a couple nights ago. Was 13 Hours.
Oh,
was it good?
Sometimes I pick up, sometimes I set down those kind of movies because sometimes there's just too much gratuitous blowing stuff up, and like I just don't know how I feel sometimes about trying to portray soldiers in film because those dudes are the farthest from actors that you could ever get. So sometimes you need like a really dry person. This movie was phenomenal. It featured 2 of Pam Beesly's one ex-lover, one current husband. Jim and Roy were both in it, and they co-starred. It was phenomenal. But I think it was sobering. I mean, it was a sobering movie, honestly. I sat by myself because the group that I was with wanted to sit up close, and I said, I'm not doing that. So, I mean, I'm sitting in this theater by myself watching this sobering movie about, I mean, terrorists attacking Americans. Great movie. Yeah, I don't want to say too much and give anything away, but it is a good movie.
Oh, I saw, I guess we're talking 2016. I saw The Revenant the other day. It was really good. But I will say it's one of those movies that's like, okay, I know this is going to win an Oscar, but it's probably the most brutal movie that I've ever seen.
Does Leo win the Oscar?
think it's like a career achievement award kind of thing. Because the other nominations are Bryan Cranston from Trumbo, Matt Damon in The Martian, Michael Fassbender from Jobs, and then Eddie Raymond in The Danish Girl. So, who's going to take it?
Either him or Eddie Redmayne or whatever his name, Raymond.
Did you see The Danish Girl?
No, but no. Nothing wrong. I just haven't seen it, but that just seems like one of those more political ones where he's gonna win the award. I don't know, but yeah, no, I think Leo will win it. It was just really good, and the bear scene is like one of the most brutal 3 to 5 minutes of screen time on a movie ever. It is hard to watch.
Yeah, that's what I had heard.
Yeah,
3 to 5 minutes.
That's what's so weird about it. It's a long scene, and it's all just like one take of him getting, mauled by a bear.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, Josh, we can pick up superhero movies.
Okay, superhero movies. So superhero movies are becoming more and more popular. Well, I say that. I mean, they're making more and more of them. Whether that's a good thing or not is to be seen. But
people see them. They transcend age,
Yeah, exactly. There'll always be the 45-year-old guys, which is what I'll become. But they have... This year, we have Batman versus Superman, which I would be excited for if Zack Snyder didn't basically show everything that was going to happen in the trailer. So and maybe that's my mistake for watching trailers, but I can't help it. So Star Wars did a great job, obviously, of not spoiling too much in the trailer. J.J. Abrams just does a really good job at that. Zack Snyder does not. And he came out and said he had some reasons for releasing all the footage he did. And I won't say anything in case, for those of you who are lucky to not have seen it yet, but don't watch the trailer if you want to go see the movie. I'll still probably see it just because it's Batman versus Superman, just to laugh at Ben Affleck's butterface and see if he can actually do a decent job after Christian Bale destroyed the role for anyone else. Captain America Civil War, that looks...
Before we move on, I will say that movie doesn't necessarily look good to me. But
no.
The weirdest part about it is that, so I get nerdy about it, like what's his name from The Social Network is playing Lex Luthor.
Well, that role actually looks really good.
Yeah, but it doesn't match like the way Lex Luthor's portrayed. I know it's like maybe it's a different take on it and maybe it'll be good. But like Lex Luthor's always this big like businessman / mob boss mogul who he's supposed to be an intimidating guy.
But think about how hard that is to portray in a movie. Like who are you gonna cast to like make that character be as big as and as intimidating as you want without making him like a Vin Diesel, Arnold Schwarzenegger laugh a lot?
Well, I mean, they used Vincent D'Onofrio in the Daredevil series on Netflix, and he did a really good job of being like a big, bruising, like brutal guy, but also being complex and like more than just a meathead, Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I don't know how excited I am to see two of my childhood heroes be pitted against one another.
Did you watch the trailer?
No, I haven't. And I guess maybe I should if that's how I feel about the movie and see more about it. But I just know a little bit. And I don't know. It feels weird it feels like a desperation move trying to bring in you could argue the two biggest superheroes into the same movie. And I don't know. I've never been a big superhero movie guy. In my show notes, I said I'm obligated to mention all 93 superhero movies because my wife loves them. So shout out to Carrie. I will go see many more superhero movies than I would if I were a single man, and I'll be happy about it.
Can I spoil the trailer?
Yeah, spoil away.
Okay, well, they already revealed that at the end of the movie, Wonder Woman appears with Batman and Superman, and they're fighting together against Doomsday. So, they already revealed, it was already Batman versus Superman. That'll be cool to see. They already revealed they're going to be fighting with each other at the end of the movie.
Wow.
They released a new trailer with, Batman getting out of a wrecked Batmobile, and he stands up next to Superman. He goes, "Do you bleed?" And, asks him if he bleeds, and you're like, dude.
I think we got a casting audition right there.
Yeah, you think that's it? No, no, it was just really lame because he does the fake Batman deep voice, and it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not super excited about that, and it's hard to follow up Christian Bale.
Yeah,
and I know that the natural progression. Absolutely. I didn't read all the comic books, but apparently the natural progression was they had the separate stories, and then they did this Batman versus Superman thing. And it was supposed to be this big deal back then. And then now it's like you said, Johnny, it's almost like a desperation thing. It's like a natural progression. And they're doing it in Marvel now with the movie we're about to get into, which we'll go ahead and transition to that with Captain America: Civil War.
I actually am excited for this one. Now in the trailer they didn't spoil anything because we knew it was Captain America versus Iron Man and the different guys that go along with that. Like Black Panther will be making a debut.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's rumored that the new Spider-Man's going to make a small debut, and this part does follow really well along with the comics because Captain America doesn't want to have any restrictions. Iron Man kind of wants to agree with the government that superheroes do need restrictions, and then if they don't, they're no different than the bad guys. So it's kind of in the same vein as the Batman versus Superman, but they don't actually spoil how it ends. So this movie would be kind of cool just because I can't get enough of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and of Chris Evans as Captain America, just because they're both such charismatic actors and they're just really enjoyable to watch on screen, whether or not the storyline sucks or not. Like, I could always watch more Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think he's always fun to watch because I never know whether or not to hate him or love him. Yeah. I don't think I could be friends with the guy. Like, if Iron Man were a real person, I think, man, you would get on my nerves. But just watching him, he's just one of the most fascinating characters, I think, that I've ever seen in a movie.
Agreed.
Yeah. That one does look good.
Deadpool definitely looks like probably has the potential to be the best movie, superhero movie. I believe it comes out in February, but starring Ryan Reynolds, and that's Fox's take on Deadpool. It's kind of interesting. It's like an R-rated superhero movie, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
It's funny. Originally, it was rated R, and now it went back to not yet rated. So I wonder if Marvel or Disney is trying to like get Fox to clean it up.
Which would be smart because they're going to cut out like probably 30% of the people who would have gone to see it.
Yeah.
Like kids. Suicide Squad, that one is probably the second one that has the potential to be the undercard that takes really the most glory from the year. That'll feature Jared Leto and his big role as the Joker, but it'll also feature the reveal of Joker's girlfriend and Will Smith and just a bunch of great dark characters. And the trailer for that doesn't reveal too much, but I guess it's not a full trailer yet. It was just a teaser, but the teaser for that movie didn't reveal too much, but it just made me more excited for that. And then
both of those are like, those also show that Marvel is trying to move in a different direction as far as like not trying just to be the big blockbuster movie. Because that and Deadpool are both going to be a little bit different and be a little bit darker, have some more humor in it potentially. Like Will Smith, Margot Robbie, and Jared Leto. Like it's going to have all villains, so that's going to be more. I imagine they're going to take a more like humorous take with that kind of group. I would imagine. I don't know. And then Deadpool obviously is like a comedy, the way they have it set up.
Yeah,
so it's cool to see that they're trying to do different things than just like using the Avengers as their crutch. And like we can just release a blockbuster where some alien rips through the sky and tears up another part of New York in like another 2 years. And so it's like it's kind of cool that they're trying something different.
Definitely. And then the last one I have on here is Doctor Strange, which will star Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know how you say his name. And Benedict Cumberbatch. And Rachel McAdams will also be in that movie, as well as Tilda Swinton. I don't know why she's in that, but that movie looks good too, just because Benedict is a great actor and can make stuff really interesting. That'll be released November 4th, I believe. So that movie is just going to be interesting. And so those were probably the superhero movies that I'm most looking forward to in my 12-year-old segment of the show. But I think they have to be mentioned because year after year, they're the films that gross either the most, or they're in the top 3 or 4 of the films that gross the most of 2016 or whatever year they're debuting in. So they have to be mentioned, even if sometimes they do suck.
Yeah, I'm with Jonny on like I pretty much, it's funny. I go see all of the superhero movies and then I'm like, well, I'm not satisfied with this movie, but I go see them anyway. So, I mean, they're good movies. They gross a lot of money, but I'm not necessarily like, I'm not like dying to see it like I am something else like 999 or something like that.
Yeah, if I can, I want to pick up on 2 comedy-esque movies that I'm excited for. One being Zoolander 2.
Yes.
And for no other reason other than I'm a Ben Stiller fan. I think the dude's phenomenal. I think his role in Walter Mitty a couple years ago moved him up about 48 spots on my favorite actors list. But I hope it's good. I hope it's not a Dumb and Dumber 2. because
How
I
dare
heard
you?
I heard that was not great.
Oh, you need to see it.
It's
It was
2
better
hours
than
of
I
poop
thought it was.
jokes. It's fantastic.
Okay, well
It was better than I thought it would be.
Well, then I'll need to see Dumb and Dumber 2. But yes, I'm excited about Zoolander 2. The other one that I didn't know about until I was researching for this pod is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Either of you heard of that?
Yes, yeah.
I have not.
So it's a comedy, but also this like historical narrative of this journalist, a female journalist played by Tina Fey. So I'm in. But like I said, it's comedy. But it's during Operation Enduring Freedom. So she's in Iraq and Afghanistan. And apparently she falls in love with another journalist or something like that. So comedy, historical narrative. It's true-ish. Shows the, being a female journalist and then also in Iraq 10 years ago. But then it's also a comedy. So I think I'm excited for it. I want to know a little more about it, though.
Transitioning into TV, The People versus O.J. Simpson was first on my list. I don't know if either of you guys are looking forward to that, but just seeing O.J. portrayed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's like a 6-part series. I don't know if it's like going to be a continued series or not.
No, it's just a one-off.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not going to be like a season after season. But I think that what's it called, American Crime Story? I think they do seasons, and they're just going to pick up different stories.
Yeah, it's like they're
That's
trying
what
to.
I had heard.
Yeah, because they're doing what they've done with American Horror Story, where they come out with a new story every year. So they're going to start doing that with like American Crime Story. But like Jonny said, they're picking up a different. Hopefully, they're picking up a different historical crime.
And I don't know about you guys, but I've always been fascinated by the OJ story because I guess when did this happen? 95, 96? I mean, I was 3 or 4 years old.
Well, it's one of those things that everybody who was there, like, I mean, if you ask people, they remember where they were when it happened. It's just kind of one of those moments where you think like, oh yeah, I was here when I found out that OJ was in a Bronco, dodging the cops. So.
Yeah, and I mean, even just seeing the 30 for 30 with the football game going on and they're cutting over to OJ, and then I watched the 30 for 30 on the Four Falls of Buffalo the other day, and one of the pregame reporters was OJ Simpson. And so just seeing him on the sideline, this normal guy giving interviews, talking about the game, analyzing the teams, and then to know, hindsight, I'm like, man, all this stuff happens in a couple years. So I think I'm really excited from a historical perspective, but also just Cuba Gooding Jr., man. Yeah,
it'll be fun also for us because like it's hard to put that in perspective because we don't realize how big of a rock star O.J. Simpson was. Like he won the Heisman Trophy, then he was a beast in the NFL, and then he was on TV all the time. I mean, this is like Michael Strahan finding out it's even bigger, I guess, than finding out Michael Strahan is like a potential murderer running from the police. This is somebody we see all the time, and we're just used to him being this great guy. So yeah, I'm excited. And then John Travolta is playing his lawyer. I forget who that is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've heard that. If he's half as good as he was in Hairspray, we're all going to be pleased.
Well said.
The one Travolta role that like people are right now. It's kind of sad. Better Call Saul season 2. Are either of you guys in on Better Call Saul, or is it just me?
I tried to find it the other day to watch it because I've heard good things about it, but I don't know where I can watch it.
Have you watched Breaking Bad?
Okay, so crucify me, but I haven't gotten into Breaking Bad.
Well then, I mean, Better Call Saul can be good on its own, but it won't have the same significance if you watch Breaking Bad first. But Better Call Saul season 2 looks really good. Bob Odenkirk was incredible, as he usually is in most of his roles as Saul Goodman. So I'm really looking forward to the return of that on AMC in February. Something that Nathan can definitely chime in on, and Jonny, I don't know if you've seen, but Mr. Robot season 2, which hasn't been announced when it's coming back yet, but there will be a season 2, fortunately.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be this year, just because I don't see how they didn't know until after the season that it was renewed, so I just don't know. I almost don't want it to be this year because, actually, you know what? Never mind, scratch that. They did know. I was thinking of Fargo or The Leftovers or something like that. But yeah, Mr. Robot season 2, it might come out this year actually. But yeah, it's going to focus more on, if anybody has watched it, the main character Elliot towards the end of season 1 has a really strange realization about himself and his family, and so like apparently season 2 is going to focus more on that and like why Elliot is the way he is. And so I'm excited to see it because it leaves you wanting more, and not in a bad way. Like it's such a perfect finish for the first season, and it sets up the second season really well. So yeah, if Jonny, if you haven't seen it yet, you need to.
No, I haven't seen that either. I need to get on it. I've been catching up on some things that I missed. So the last month I've been watching Friends. I'm season 4 on Friends right now. I started The West Wing. So I'm just knocking out my 90s TV shows that I was pooping my pants through when I was a kid.
There you go. Well, yeah, and I'm with you on like when he mentions Better Call Saul. Like I still haven't finished Breaking Bad yet. So like I want to watch Better Call Saul, but I'm still like stuck on season 3 of Breaking Bad. So it proves that there's a reason we're the Unprofessionals Podcast and not the Watch. You know, like we don't know as much about TV as we like to because it's not our job.
That's true. If watching TV was our job, we'd know a lot more.
But you mentioned Fargo, and I finished. So I had to watch it out of order. Season 1. I don't have a Hulu account. I could not pay the money just to watch Fargo season 1. But I picked up Fargo season 2, finished that yesterday. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Because I thought it was incredible. And I'm excited to see where that goes. Because I read up on how the seasons are related. Josh, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
So I read up on how the seasons were related. And essentially, season 2 is just like a pause, rewind 30 years. And this is what happened 30 years ago. Right. And it's got like, I think 2 characters in season 2 that are actually in season 1. So I'm excited to see where they go with season 3. They might have talked about it already and I just haven't heard, but
I don't know where they're going with it.
Yeah. I watched Sons of Anarchy earlier this year. So this whole crime family syndicate thing is appealing to me. I love the entertainment of that. But to me, Fargo is a way better, and I don't even want to say they're similar, but as far as crime families, it far outweighs Sons of Anarchy. So if you like Sons of Anarchy and that idea of common man crime for pay, for earning a living, then you will love Fargo.
Yeah, it's such a good show, man. And it really, like, this season was all built around a 2-minute conversation in the first season, which is why it's like a lot of people speculate about the next season. It's been renewed. So a lot of people look at this season and are like, all right, so was there a conversation like that where they're going to make the third season about? Because it was literally 2 minutes. The guy, gosh, I can't remember his name. What's the main guy's name in season 2? Patrick Wilson's character.
Is it? Oh, it's the cop.
Yeah, the cop. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah, sorry, that's bad. But anyways, there's like a scene where he's like 60 or 70 at this point. He's the main character's father in the first season. And he just mentions, I haven't seen anything like this since Kansas City. And so like he mentions that briefly.
Silverson.
Yes. Yeah. Lou Silverson. Yeah, so he mentions it, and then they make an entire second season based on that. So it's really cool the way they chose to do that, and I'm sure they're going to do the same thing with the next season. Anyways.
Is that supposed to come out this year?
Probably not till 2017.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at things right now, and it's just they've been renewed, but it's all kind of speculation as to like when it's coming out. I don't think they've come out and said, but there's speculation of when and where. But yeah, I would guess if it comes out, it would be end of 2016.
Well, Fear the Walking Dead Season 2 is coming out in April, and I'm looking forward to that because I can always watch more zombies chasing people around, and I can definitely do it when it's in LA. And at the end of last season, we were left on a little, I guess not a cliffhanger, but this season, it looks like they're going to go on a boat, which means pirate zombies, hopefully. And so I'm definitely more down for that. Also to see if these characters can actually keep my interest for longer than one season, which they did just because I would watch one season if it sucked of a Walking Dead spinoff, because The Walking Dead has just kind of earned my respect as a TV show. So it's kind of like if you have a really, really good friend and your really, really good friend wants you to interview for this job or talk to this person for something, you'll do it just to be nice most of the time, but you won't go back a second time. So I'm hoping Fear the Walking Dead Season 2 will pique my interest on its own, free of the strains of being connected to The Walking Dead this season. So I believe that comes out in April.
Yeah, I was surprised by how good the first season was. So I'm interested to see where they go with the second one.
Next is, and this is purely for me because I don't even know if you guys care about this, but Fuller House. I'm I'm excited to see crazy John Stamos try to be a dad again. I'm excited to see, hopefully, I guess the Olsen twins aren't going to be in it, so we won't get to see their coked out brains trying to perform, which kind of sucks. But I'm just kind of excited to see Fuller House.
Trap House.
Exactly.
Hey, did you hear they're doing the same thing with Bill at the Cosby Show?
No, with all the jokes.
It's actually a Dateline report.
Oh man, brutal.
I've been saving that one for like 48 hours. I had to throw it out there.
I can't go back after that. But actually, Jonny, you mentioned Friends. They're this is a total. I'm embarrassed to say I know this, but they're doing like a Friends reunion show in February, and I don't know if it's going to be like a like an actual episode, but they've just said like the 6 of them are coming to honor like the director or whatever his name was. But it's going to be the first time the 6 of them are on like TV together or whatever since the actual TV show. So that'll be kind of cool. Not that that really counts as a TV show of 2016. It's actually probably going to do awful and no one's going to like it. But everyone will like, hopefully, season 4 of House of Cards, which, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, we were left with... Actually, I won't spoil anything. But Jonny, tell me why you're excited for season 4.
I'm excited for season 4 of House of Cards because Frank Underwood has so influenced me that there's a chance that I've already submitted the paperwork to write him in for the 2016 presidential election. I'm Underwood 2016 all the way. No, I think I started watching House of Cards, I think, earlier this year when there was only 2 seasons on Netflix. And I believe there's 16 episodes per season. But it just shows behind the scenes of politics in a different way than what I've heard West Wing. I just started West Wing. As everybody told me, if you like House of Cards, West Wing is kind of the original in-depth political show. So I started West Wing, but House of Cards, one word to describe it is crazy. Like you can't, whenever you think Frank Underwood has gone off the deep end, you're wrong. He's just walking to the edge of the diving board. He is insane.
Well, that's what I've heard is that they've done such a good job of doing what me and Jonny talked about this a little bit. I did the Phil Simms thing. But yeah, I did. We've talked about how like shows, it's so hard for shows to keep people guessing, which is what a lot of people want from shows. You just don't want to be able to predict everything that happens. And I haven't watched all of House of Cards. I think I've watched like a little bit of season 1. But from what I understand and from what everybody says about it, that's one of the things it has going for it is the constant state of keeping people, just off balance in a way.
Absolutely. Is that
accurate?
And I think that even can come too much. Like I watched How to Get Away with Murder. Season 1, I feel like, is one of the best seasons of television ever because it's so shocking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give anything away with that show, but it is a shocking season. But then season 2 is the same exact thing. And so I'm fearing that with that show that had such a great first season, it's going to become just this recycled shock every episode to where you can't even settle in to enjoy it. And that's, House of Cards season 3, I will admit I had to drudge through that because it was a lot slower than the first 2 seasons, but I admire that because they weren't just going back to, oh no, we have to get millions of people to watch this. Let's try to make it as shocking as possible. I feel like they were setting up storyline. I feel like they were deepening characters, kind of developing Frank's wife, Claire, who's a main character. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that season 3 was a little slower while it didn't pique my entertainment interest quite as much as the first 2 seasons, but I definitely appreciate it from a long-term perspective.
They're doing it right. What I think like shows like The Walking Dead, which I still watch, like I'm still going to follow, maybe is missing because it seems like they've kind of settled into the only thing they can offer because they've buried themselves into this world of like hopelessness. The only thing they can offer is the shock of like which main character they're going to kill off. And so it's like there's no real storyline or hope beyond that. And now it looks like it's transitioning to the point where there's going to have to be a storyline shift to where things are different. They're bringing in new villains, so that could change. But that said, like looking at what am I blanking? House of Cards. Looking at House of Cards, they've seemed to have done that right, and that they keep a storyline and they're not settling into like, this is our thing. This is why the first season was successful. So let's just rewrite it the next season. And like it'll be interesting to see Fargo. Fargo completely changed. Like they had two really powerful actors and performances in the first season, and they changed it just a little bit. Had a bigger cast and a different story, and it was different. So I wonder, like with this next season, are they going to take it and change it like the same way? Because I don't know, they could easily fall into a pattern of like, this is going to be what Fargo is about. It's taking a small part of this story, making it the next story. And it's like, if they can get creative enough to change that, then it'll be cool. But anyways, yeah, all that said, I'm excited for those who are excited about House of Cards. These are some shows I saw doing some research that looked interesting. One is 11/22/63. It's coming out on Hulu, and it stars James Franco. No, this is not a joke. This is not a joke.
No. I've actually seen that, and it looks good.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams is directing it, and it's produced by Stephen King. He wrote the books that it's based on. So basically, it looks like he goes back in time to stop the Kennedy assassination. And while that sounds like a joke, like it looks legitimately awesome. So it looks like, and if J.J. Abrams is doing it, it's probably going to be all right. And so yeah, it's coming out on Hulu later this year, and it looks phenomenal. So I'm excited about that. You, Me, and the Apocalypse is coming out on NBC, and I watched Last Man on Earth for the first season, and then Anna and I couldn't stay hooked. The first season was really good. So I'm like, I'm always going to watch these like apocalypse shows, especially if they're comedy. And this one is, it's another like British adaptation like The Office was. Jenna Fisher's actually in it. So is Rob Lowe. Because of those reasons, I'm going to watch it. And it actually looks like it might be funny. So I'm excited for that one. You, Me, and the Apocalypse is what that one's called. And then another Hulu show is The Path with Aaron Paul and Michelle Monaghan. And it's about a cult leader and this family who kind of gets like, swept up into this town where this cult leader has kind of imposed his will on everybody. So that sounds, anything with cult leaders and Aaron Paul and Michelle Monaghan, and I'm in.
I've got one more show, and it's in honor of the fact that it comes out tomorrow in a 25-hour marathon.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you're mentioning this.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Steve Carell and his wife Nancy wrote it and were executive producers, and it's called Angie Tribeca. And it's a comedy crime show. I'm excited. I really don't know much about it other than it's about this chick, Angie Tribeca, 10-year vet in the LAPD, and she works. And I can appreciate this because my dad loves Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit. And so this is the RHCU, the Really Heinous Crimes Unit, is what she works in. So I just admire Steve Carell's comedy and voice. So I'm excited for that.
What do you mean like a 25-hour? Like, are they releasing all the episodes at once?
Yeah, commercial free. I think it's on TBS, right? They're just releasing it, and literally they're just going to show. It's a 10-episode season, and they're just going to show it all. So I'm planning on just hitting record.
Yeah, because so the show looks really funny. Like it looks like a mixture of Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something like that.
Yes.
So like with that, but the fascinating thing to me is the way that TBS is releasing it, because like that's basically their response to Netflix and to binge watching. It's like, we're going to release it all at once. You can record it. You're basically like doing what everybody wishes TV shows would do. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that more networks are going to do that, or what do you think?
I mean, it takes away ad dollars, which is probably a bad idea, but at the same time, it also allows people to get in on the show early, and you can not stop if you want to, because sometimes if you watch the pilot and then you kind of tail off on a show, but this, you watch the pilot, and instead of waiting next week, it's gonna come out in 30 seconds. So there's positives and negatives to it, but I mean, if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. And I feel like network television has kind of tried to beat Netflix and stuff, and it hasn't really worked because some of the best TV around is on Netflix, and Netflix has become kind of like a cultural symbol for laziness and boredom, which is kind of something we all have at some points. So it's a noble effort, and I mean, like obviously it captured y'all's attention, so it's getting the attention of people. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm with you, Josh. I'm kind of being skeptical. Like, I don't know that it will in the long run compete, but I like it from a viewership perspective. I think it. And I've been thinking about this. How do people do ratings? Bill Simmons was talking with Malcolm Gladwell on the podcast. yesterday, and I thought it was phenomenal when they were just talking about the shows that they used to watch in the 90s and how, when I forget what night it was, maybe Tuesday, you just went home and watched Seinfeld. I mean, there was just nothing else to do. Like, you went home and you turn on TV and you watch Seinfeld, and you go and you look at the Seinfeld ratings. That's why they were averaging 50, 60 million viewers a week. Incredible numbers. And then today, the best shows are getting less than 10 million viewers a week. The Walking Dead, I think, is up around maybe 14 or 15. But how do they do, you guys might have an answer to this, how do they do ratings when so many people are recording it and watching it later? Like, does that count as a view? When people are watching it on Hulu, does that count as a view? And can you say that they watched it on that date, the date it was released? You can't really count that. So I don't even know how they're doing ratings today. And it probably doesn't matter as much because money is money. So they're not really caring about necessarily the ratings that are coming out that night. They're caring about, are we selling it to Hulu or Netflix? How are we getting ads and stuff like that?
Right. And it's, as far as ratings go, like, from what I understand, they track live watchers, and they can track people who DVR it, but they can't track how many times somebody watches it once it's DVR'd. So you could DVR something and never watch it, and they wouldn't know.
That makes sense.
So they also, a lot of people are creating apps. Like USA Network has an app, FX has their app. Every network has an app now to watch their shows. And so that's kind of like the uncreative solution, is like, let's create something that can compete with Netflix on Apple TV. So I think that they're most likely, a lot of networks now are trying to create a catalog of shows that they can sell to people, like, through subscriptions down the road. And so something like Angie Tribeca, at least what I appreciate about it is, like, they're doing something that they realize, like, okay, let's not create an app. Like, let's just give everybody the show back to back to back so they can binge watch it. And even if they don't want to binge watch it, they can record it and watch it but it's like you said, Josh, you get, for this first season at the very least, even if they only do this season that way, they create this, like, almost this, like, desire to watch it simply because of how creatively they're putting it out there. And so if they get into it and they like it, the next season they can release it like a normal TV show and people will, be a little bit hooked. I think it's an interesting way. I don't know that it'll be a long-term solution, but it's an interesting way to get people hooked, to get people at least interested. Because I think that's like, I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I've kind of forgotten about it just because it's a weekly show. So I think that this is a way that it piqued my interest and stuck with me because of how they're releasing it. So
absolutely.
And on that note, thank you for listening to the Unprofessionals Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. You can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Unprofession. And you can look for us online at our website, unprofession.com, as well as SoundCloud and the podcast store on iTunes. Search The Unprofessionals and you will find our podcasts. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.